Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the magnificent and number one podcast in the world, because it's never ever going to be overtaken by anything, Mind Over Madness. And I'm joined once again by the beautiful co-host that I have, Sean. There he is.
Oh, hello there. I can't believe how popular we've become. We've just skyrocketed.
We are number one.
Number one.
Number one. You're number one yet? Yes, welcome everybody. We hope you're all having a good day. We hope everything is going well for you. But before we jump into the podcast, as we always do, let's talk about us a little bit. How have you been, Sean?
It's all about us.
It's all about us. Forget the show.
It's all about it. Yeah, quite a bit has happened. It's like a family party and stuff. Like a week and a half ago now, or 2 weeks. I don't know. It's been like 3 weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been about 3 weeks.
But yeah, that was successful. I baked a cake for my auntie's 60th, and we all had a nice, jolly old time in the seedy pubs in my local area. I think that's where I contracted a cold, which has affected me for a week and a half. And I'm finally getting over it now, so that's good. Just a slight tingle of a cough, which is fine, but the pressure has lifted on the sinuses, which is just the best. It feels like it's never going to end when you've got the one, but it does eventually. But yeah, it's other than that, it's just been business as usual, really. Just trying to catch up with some friends and stuff. But yeah, How have you been the past couple of weeks?
I've been good. I've been doing really well. I'm being a bit more healthy now, eating a bit more healthy, drinking plenty, so I'm glad of that. Taking my health a little bit more seriously now. Age.
Yeah.
But no, I'm feeling good. Got a lot done over the past couple of weeks. Done a lot of editing. Done back to streaming, doing the schedules and everything, which has been great. It's been nice to have a bit of structure to my day. I think one of the things that I think people don't realise is how badly a mental health can be affected without structure. It's nuts. You just get a bit lost and a bit confused. So yeah, it's been really good. I've had a really good time, and obviously been hanging out with people and friends, and of course myself and you have been hanging out again as well, which is lovely.
For 2 hours.
For 2 hours. Well, we're hanging out more today, so that's okay.
Yes. Yes, of course.
But I have been very, very busy, like trying to arrange everything. Like probate is still kind of going on with my grandparents, obviously passing away. So that situation has been very stressful. But other than that, it's been good. Got a lot of housework done, keeping the place clean. Yeah. It's been little victories that you take.
Clean house, clean mind.
Well, I don't know if clean is the right word.
Focused.
That is the word that we will use, focused. But yeah, it's been good. It's been a good time.
Well, that is good to hear, at least. Yeah. We're all on the road to improvements, which is always good.
Exactly.
But yes, shall we jump into our usual schedule with the news? Yeah, we usually start with the news.
I've actually got quite a bit to talk about today in regards to the news, so we'll try and get through it as quick as we can, because we like to try and keep it kind of shorter.
Positive.
But, yeah, it's important to touch on these topics, so yeah, what have you got, sir?
Yeah.
You go first.
Well, I suppose, one of the typical, most important things for this country is the fact that King Charles now has cancer.
Yeah.
Which is something I only just wrote down before, because I was like, oh yeah, that happened. But yeah, so I kind of feel bad about slanging him off a little bit last week about him getting his test and stuff. But they obviously found some kind of cancer when he went in for his routine prostate surgery. Which was, I don't know, it's just like one of those things that cancer does not discriminate. It affects everybody, doesn't it? And
absolutely, yeah.
He seems to be getting the treatment straight away.
Which is good, of course. Don't get me wrong, would it be nice for everybody to have that treatment? Yes, of course. But it is good that he is getting help, and of course, he will get. Of course, we don't wish any ill will. Of course we don't.
No. He, but yeah, I'm sure. I think he said himself that it's kind of an eye opener that it does just affect everyone. Hopefully, it can raise more awareness.
Yeah.
I think because I know there's a spike of older men getting the prostate checks done, and then they obviously find more things, and then he could potentially have saved many lives by kind of openly admitting all this kind of stuff, which is I'm sure isn't easy.
No.
But yeah, so they revealed that he has cancer, but they didn't like specify which cancer he has. So I don't know. I think they kind of struck the balance quite right by just like not going into too many details, but letting everyone know. Because he could have easily like kept it hidden, I suppose, until comes a point where you can't hide it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I think it was I know I'm not saying it's a good thing that obviously that's happened to him, not at all. But I think it's a really positive thing that they didn't hide it, they didn't try to cover it up. They were just completely bare and open and went, look, this is not literally, but this is what is going on. His health has taken a turn. He's got prostate cancer, and I think, like you say, it's a good thing because it encourages sort of the general population then maybe to take it a little bit more seriously and to kind of go, maybe I should have a doctor's visit, and just to check that everything's all pristine down there. And although the NHS is struggling, it's still good to get yourself in there and get checked if you need to. And of course, we'll advocate on this. We're both men at the end of the day. Men do have a higher rate of prostate cancer as well and colon problems. So it's important to go and get yourself checked, lads. Don't be ashamed of it. It's just because it's a male doctor sticking his finger up there doesn't make it any gay. It's not gay. It's normal. No, but
it's so funny in this day and age. People are like, oh, I'm not doing that as gay.
Yeah, I can't believe the fact. Right, I say that as a joke, right? But to take it to keep it seriously, obviously, yes, do go and get checked. But there are people that still think that way, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your health is the most important thing. Go and get yourself checked. It's important, lads.
Yeah.
And testicles. Keep checking those testicles as well, lads. It's important. Make sure there's no abnormalities.
Yeah. Always have a feel.
Yeah, always have a feel. Not
always cop a feel of your own. Not other
yeah, cop a feel of yourself, not of others. Others can do it themselves.
Obviously, Prince Charles is not Prince Charles. Prince William is taking over royal duties for now, which a lot of people are kind of, quite content with because they think he should have been like king straight away rather than Charles. But that's how it is. He's getting his little practice in now, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, that's one of the articles I've got up here is Prince Harry King's illness could bring us closer, and it's basically just talking about how Harry has been talking about it, and how one of the quotes was, any illness, any sickness brings families together. And I think that's true. And this is a good thing. It's making them more relatable, it's making them more understandable. And for the fact that this is coming from Harry, someone that's stepped away from all of that kind of stuff, it's nice to see that, despite everything that may or may not happen, of course we don't know behind the scenes stuff, but it's nice to see that, he still cares for his family, obviously, and he still wants to make sure that everything's good and everyone's okay. So I think that's a massively positive outcome from the best outcome you can have from a very upsetting situation.
It's sad that it has to come to this for that united things that people don't forget about, all the controversy in the past, which is like all meaningless, isn't it? When it comes to health, when the most important things. But I'm glad it's we're at this stage now, and we can all move on from it, and wish them well, and yeah,
of course,
yeah,
that's what we want.
That is the king. He's the king.
Hail to the king!
No, we don't hear the king.
No, we praise him.
We respect, but
yeah.
But yeah, have you got anything else, good sir?
I've got a couple of things. So we'll talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit. I want to try and get some local news in Wales. What's been going on in Wales? And this was a pretty shocking thing that I saw today, just before we came on the podcast to sort of have a chat. If you're wondering why I'm looking this way, by the way, anyone that's watching, my third monitor is there, and that's where the news articles are. But yeah, Newport man Sean Wakefield fired an air rifle at police. Not the smartest move, I'll be honest.
Okay.
So, again, I'm not going to read too much of it. Of course, it'll be linked down below. But a man fired an air rifle at police after threatening to kill his wife and set him fire to his flat. So he's a bit of a dick. Sean Wakefield, 47, kicked a neighbour's door down when his wife fled, then pointed a gun at officers on Fair Oak Avenue in Newport in April 2023. He was jailed for 4 years and 8 months after Cardiff Crown Court on Thursday. He pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence, arson and criminal damage. Again, not going to read the entire article, but I mean, why? It boggles the mind as to how someone thinks that's going to fix their problem.
I think it's down to drugs and whatever.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, but imagine being in that situation, like being the neighbour who's trying to, sort of provide a safe place for, the wife, and then all of a sudden, this guy comes kicking your door in. And the thing is, with the air rifle, it actually looks like an old-fashioned bolt-action rifle. It's not like when you buy air rifles, for anyone who's not aware, like if you buy like a airsoft gun or something, you can get ones that look very realistic, but a lot of the kind of old-fashioned designs look identical. I think there are laws in the UK about how real they can look, but it looks real. Imagine having someone pointing that at you and you're like, you can't tell. That's a terrifying thought.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of airsoft guns do look almost exactly the same. They're based off of the real ones, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's you can't go around in public with one of those because people will assume it's real. You see a gun, you assume it's real.
Yeah, you're gonna panic.
So yeah, that is terrifying. Yeah, he shouldn't. Yeah, he's obviously kind of got some problems and obviously maybe substance abuse. And this is Newport. You're the odd one out if you don't take substances. But yeah, may he get the help he needs and also go to jail.
He's in. I believe he is sentenced now. I think he is going to jail, so that's good. Another asshole off the street. But I mean, the fact that was even a thing, it's like, what? Just do your shit like a normal human. Fucking hell. Like, why?
Yeah.
But have you got any more news?
Well, on that psychotic level, I suppose, is Abdul Azadi, the acid attacker in London. Yeah. He attacked his ex-partner and child with acid and somehow splashed himself as well. And then he's kind of just disappeared off all CCTV. I think the last time he was seen was on the Thames Bridge.
Yeah.
So they assume that he has killed himself or fallen in, or they're assuming he's dead at the moment. But whether that's just a tactic to kind of bring him out, or if he's in hiding, or if he is actually dead, we don't know.
One can hope.
But without no body, I'm not believing it for now. I've seen enough TV shows.
no body, no
to be an
death.
expert.
That's how it works. But I mean, that man.
Well, let's hope he is dead.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, of course we want to see people like faced with justice, and we want them to, pay for their crimes. This guy can drown for all I care, or actually burn alive.
Yeah, he needs to be subjected to like a jigsaw trap with like acid slowly burning him. Yeah.
I mean, look, I mean, people like that don't, and look, I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to people deserving a second chance and things. Even people that commit crimes, right? People do things under stressful situations, but this man can fuck off. No, you don't.
When it comes to attacking children.
What the fuck's wrong with you? And just another person, especially with acid. And he's so stupid he got it on himself as well. I mean...
How easy is it to get a hold of acid? And because I think this was an alkali attack, but it's under the umbrella of acid. So either way, acid or alkali can be as strong to cause serious burns.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I can't remember what the artist's name. But there was a female artist that had what was her name? Bjork, I think was her name. She had there's that famous story of the stalker that she had, who documented everything, including his own death when he shot himself. And he managed to obtain acid and make an entire trap based around it, that when she opened the box, it would spray. How do people get hold of this shit? Isn't that stuff meant to be under lock and key? It's dangerous chemicals. What? I mean, I know bleach is dangerous, but I mean, very different.
Yeah, it's we don't have access to guns in this country, so we're gonna use our imaginations. Really.
Apparently, get creative.
And that's somehow even worse because it's the devil you can't see, isn't it?
I know. I mean, yeah. I mean, whether or not he is dead or not, hopefully, if he is alive, hopefully he'll face the absolute most justice that he can have, which should be locked in a fucking isolated cell on his own for 23 hours a day, completely locked in for the rest of his life.
There's like a £20,000 reward for like handing him in if people are harbouring him because he's not been using his cards or not been seen in public or stuff. And he can't really, looking like Harvey Two-Face, he can't exactly walk around and not be recognised.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard to stay hidden.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully justice will find him.
Yes, hopefully, yeah.
And slap him.
There is some news that came out today. Putin's biggest critic has died, apparently.
Yeah, this was one of the ones I had up as well. Yeah. I mean, what a shock! Another person who opposed Putin that died strangely. Oh,
Did
weird.
he fall out of a window by any chance?
Oh, weird.
That's what happened to a lot of them.
How would that happen? I don't know. Like someone that opposed him and was doing quite well at opposing him just disappeared or died.
Yeah.
I wonder.
It's just another one of those things that just no one is surprised by, really, and I'm surprised it took this long.
Yeah,
for that to happen. Any open opposition of Putin is like forbidden, isn't it?
I know. I mean, it's crazy to me that there, in this day and age, there's still dictators like Putin who can just do this shit and just get away with it. Like of course he can, because he runs the country. So. Like, who's going to stop him? And I think the problem is that I hope to fuck World War III never happens. Of course I do. Like, who wants another world war? But I mean, at some point, kind of has to be a line drawn here. Like, someone needs to do something about him. I'm not saying start a war, but just maybe put a couple of soldiers in there. Just a Black Ops mission. Maybe he has a trip and a fall out of a window.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Slips on a banana skin and.
Do you reckon Putin's had his rectal checked? Like, do you reckon he's had just,
He probably won't allow it.
I won't have a cock in my ass. No, he probably wouldn't. I won't have a finger up me. No. I mean,
Jesus.
I mean, it's just it's to try not to joke too much, but I mean, yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, anyone that opposes Putin immediately just dies or goes missing. I know. It's the same in. I mean, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but in China, obviously, their authoritarian state, it's very similar. Like, people go missing if you oppose the government, and it's just how the fuck they think they're being subtle. It's just like,
I know. It's like.
You're not. You're a fucking idiot. like we can all see what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like for them the world ends at the border, it's just them. They're only seeing what's on the inside and stuff, which is a shame. But I think a lot of people are just kind of going with it just because they've got no other choice.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do? I mean, if you live in Russia, there's not really much you can do. You just have to sort of nod and agree. Otherwise, you end with the same fate. So. Which is disgusting. Yeah. But
we'll just have to see how that unfolds. Well, it's obviously going to unfold in his favour, but because no more opposition. Way, what a win!
Bloody hell.
He needs to be overthrown.
He does. He does. But shall we talk about Norwich and the NHS walk-in centre firm hiring a paedophile?
Oh, what a spicy topic.
So, Norwich NHS walk-in centre firm hired a paedophile doctor. A firm running an NHS walk-in centre hired a top doctor charged with child sex offences and continued to use his services after his conviction. In May, Dr. Robert Varnam admitted making more than 200 indecent images of children. Well done, NHS. Well done.
Yeah.
He continued working out of one of Norwich's practices, providing organisational advice until mid-July. Former chair Sarah Ambrose said he, quote, deliberately misled the organisation, end quote. Can I ask a question? How the fuck did he deliberately mislead when you can see his record?
Surely something like that would be easily accessible on a record.
Exactly. If we can have fucking CBR checks on us, or was it DB? What are they called? DBR? No, DBR checks. DBR checks. Yeah. When we have DBR checks on us, how the fuck didn't you DBR check this freak? But had not worked with patients. She said she only learned of his conviction last month, which is pathetic. and would not have hired him if she had known he was facing charges. By the way, I couldn't give a fuck. That's your job to check these people. That is your job.
That's
that's like turning to us and saying, "Oh, sorry, I forgot to pay my taxes. I forgot they were a thing."
Yeah.
Like,
it just kind of shows the kind of desperation and the understaffing and stuff of the NHS when they're just so desperate that the bar of recruitment just falls below a certain level because they just need to have a doctor in there. It's just like
it's fucking disgusting. It's like, look, I understand.
Standards start falling.
Yeah, I understand accidents happen and whatever. This isn't an accident. Once again, it's deliberate ignorance. Clearly, she would have seen his fucking record before they hired him. You have to. There's checks you have to go through to get those kinds of jobs, and it's like what?
Yeah, it's like an admin thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah, I didn't learn about it until last month. Get fucked.
Yeah, when I was younger, I had the misconception of thinking everyone who worked in the NHS was like really smart and absolutely prestigious. But then you realise it's just like average Sally down the road, which is nothing wrong with that. But no. It's just like these errors do happen, and I don't think a lot of people who work there care about the fact that it's people's health. It's like just a business, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, she tried to obviously underplay it by saying, but he never worked with patients. It's like, that doesn't matter. Like, you've seen his record. He had over 200 pictures of children.
Yeah.
He should be castrated and hung.
Yeah.
Like, there is no middle ground here. You do not hire someone like that. Oh, but that's not fair, James. How were they meant to improve their lives? Well, they should have thought about that instead of sexualizing children. Simple.
Yeah.
Not my problem. I'm sorry. Like, people like that do not deserve another chance. They don't. I know I said earlier that people can change. These kinds of people cannot. People who throw acid, people who use children like that. There are scientific studies to show that sometimes it is a thing in the brain, right? Their brain cannot work out where the border of like age and consent works. Go and get help then. It is widely known it's not okay to do that. Go and talk to someone. Like, as long as you haven't committed a crime, it's just thoughts, you can get help. You're not going to go to prison. Yeah. Like, but the moment you cross that line and you commit that crime, tough shit. Like, goodbye. Yeah. Like, no.
Yeah, I was reading this thing on like Reddit about this guy. I think he was like 40 odd years old, and he married like an 11-year-old, and that went through as like okay in like 1911 or something. Oh, so it's over 100 years ago. But obviously the laws back then were kind of okay. But I think the judge at the time was like, well, if she doesn't marry, then this girl is going to be homeless and not going to be fed. So it's kind of like which is worse?
Oh, it was kind of not like an official marriage. It was more like, couldn't they have done like a guardianship thing? Maybe the laws were very different. I mean, I imagine it was over 100 years ago, so I mean, probably wasn't like it is today. But I mean, surely there would have been a better way than to be like, we're going to marry you off to some guy who can look after you.
Yeah, I think it was an actual marriage as well. It's just like I don't know, beggars belief really. Even 100 years ago.
Fucking gross. No, I'm not okay with that. No.
I know, but apparently she only like he died like it's like 1970 something, and then she remarried after that. So that's the only kind of justice, I suppose, that she managed to get. Be happy. But apparently she stayed with him all the time.
Jesus.
But yeah, that's how laws and society changes as well. So something like that would have been okay.
Yeah.
100 years ago, and if you think about 100 years ago, what records did they have on people with regards to looking at this kind of thing? And
probably
mind you, I suppose it'd be harder to get access to that kind of thing, but also, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah, I think it was all behind the scenes stuff back then. I think as well as being behind the scenes, I think another big part of it would have been like obviously keeping records back then would have been a lot harder because you have to like everything was paper, whereas today everything gets put on like a database. So
yeah. Literally, all they knew about you was if you were on the electoral roll or whatever.
Yeah.
But Jesus.
Yeah, that's that then.
Not okay today.
No, never. Never was okay. I give a shit what the laws were.
Yeah.
But, have you got any more news stories? I got two more, but...
I haven't got anything else for news, so go
I
ahead.
think I can't remember if we touched on this last week, but anyone who's a fan of the wrestling world, I sort of dabble now. I'm not a huge fan in WWE and everything, but of course, the ex-CEO and owner of WWE, Vince McMahon, is facing serious accusations of sex trafficking and. Well, put it this way: he did a Donald Trump. He paid over 20 million in hush money and NDAs to try and get people to be quiet. By the way, I don't think an NDA basically stating you can't talk about the fact that I sex trafficked you is legal in court, but you know, we'll see. But for those of you not aware of the story, just to give you a brief run through, because there's a lot to this, so obviously go and do your own research if you wanna know more, and update yourself. But essentially, I think it was about a year ago, some accusations came up against Vince McMahon from ex WWE stars and people that had worked for him that were females that sort of implied that not only did he force them to have sex with him, but he also shared them with his friends. And basically, there were stories about how behind, and this is all allegations at the moment. I should stress that point. It's all allegation. No, it is. It's allegations, because obviously it's still going through court. But yeah, he basically shared the women with like other top WWE people who did the management and everything. As happens when you have a big business. That's what you do. But yeah, he was also recently accused of living out his fantasy on TV. Now, if anyone hasn't watched the old WWE, it was very different back in the day because it wasn't PG. There was a lot more sort of sexualization of the women. There was a lot more raunchy stuff. And obviously a lot of the talent was not comfortable at that at the time. Women didn't want to be treated like that. They wanted to be seen as superstars, as the WWE entertainment, which is what they were doing. They were still wrestling, they were still, fighting, but they weren't allowed to have that exposure. Instead, it had to be all tits and ass. So Vince McMahon,
they were basically just there to warm up the crowds, weren't they?
basically, they would be like these days. If you look at a WWE show, it's kind of mixed how it all goes up to build to the main event. You'll have some males at the beginning, like male sing matches, and then female, and then male, then sort of, and there's title belts and stuff now for females. They've been given a lot more improvement, and they're allowed to just show their talent instead of just their looks. But yeah, back then it was very much that sort of standard, and you'd have like wet t-shirt contests and stuff. And look, it was a product of its time. We get that, but you still can't do this stuff behind the scenes. I'm just going to read a little bit from this article. Again, be linked down below if people want to go and check it out. But there is a lot more to this situation, so please bear that in mind. Vince McMahon ruled over WWE for several decades with an iron fist and oversaw everything that happened in WWE. This indicated some highly controversial angles in the light of his recent allegations. McMahon has been accused of living out his fantasy on the telly. Vince McMahon is presently facing accusations of sexual trafficking and misconduct from former WWE employee Danielle Grant. So this is just one of the people that's come forward. In a lawsuit, Grant alleges that McMahon distributed explicit content of her without consent, implicating other WWE personnel, undisclosed executives, and wrestling stars. So it's other talent as well. The Hall of Famer Bret Hart recently commented on the allegations and blasted Vince McMahon without any mercy. While speaking on his Caf de Rene podcast, Rene Dupree shared his reaction to the WWE Hall of Famer's comment about Vince McMahon, stating that one might have to consider McMahon guilty, as people who know McMahon properly know how weird he is. So it's been a weird angle, right? So there's been a few people that have come forward and gone, yeah, no, I could see that happening. And some superstars have absolutely blasted him and said that, no, I want nothing to fucking do with him. But there have obviously been a few that have taken his side. And some that just haven't spoken it. So obviously the big ones, John Cena hasn't commented on it. Rock, Dwayne Johnson hasn't commented on it, obviously. Obviously Mark Calloway, The Undertaker, one of the most famous people around, who had the entire documentary series made about him by WWE when he retired, has obviously not spoken on it because him and Vince were notoriously very, very close, because Vince was like his father. So I can understand why he's not commenting on it, right? I get it. Like, he doesn't want to get involved yet.
interesting how they don't comment on it, all these big stars, because they're doing very well right now.
Well, I
And they
think
don't want anything to kind of look bad.
yeah, I think it's also like maybe some of them genuinely didn't know this was going on and they're kind of waiting for the court stuff to go on. Obviously, yeah, there are probably some that are like, fuck, I was involved in that. I need to stay quiet. But yeah.
Hush, hush now.
But yeah, I'll just read one of the quotes and then I'll leave this here. But so again, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but it's not the case with a lot of wrestlers, right? We just presume that he is guilty because the people who actually know him, McMahon, know how fucking weird he is and how odd he is. So, yeah, again, I'll leave a link for that down below. But, yeah, it's a lot's gone on in it. That's just basically scraping the top. But, I mean, if you've been a fan of wrestling for a few, probably over a decade, you'll kind of remember the end of the Attitude Era, which was kind of that raunchier, R-rated product. And, yeah, some of the things that happened, like Trish Stratus is one of the biggest stars known, right? I still remember a segment where he got her to walk on her hands and knees in the ring in front of everyone and bark. And he was like stroking her head. And she had a leash. It's like...
Is he the guy who's on that like meme, on that the photo where he's like different levels?
Yeah, that's him. And that's because like he had I think that was actually a segment from WWE where he had one of the divas dancing for him. And when you're the owner of a company, it doesn't look really good on you, especially when these allegations come out. But just to stress this point, they are still allegations at this point. Nothing is concrete. People are innocent until proven guilty, but there are a few sort of glaring issues here. The fact that he stepped down as the owner and the CEO and has left WWE entirely, and some of the bigger talent like Brock Lesnar have spoken out about this and said that it's probably true. Again, all allegations, but I do recommend that if you are involved or you do enjoy the wrestling business and you haven't heard about this, maybe go and do a bit of research, learn a bit more about it, because it is a massive story and we just don't have time to go through everything on this. We'd have to do an episode on that alone. But as a fan of wrestling, not a major fan anymore, but a fan that dabbles every now and then to check out what's going on, I wanted to bring that up. I know it's a bit miserable, but I think it's important. Again, it's a big company. Clearly the head was taking advantage of everything, as always fucking happens, apparently. So
yeah, and it only comes out when they're at the end of their career.
Yeah, funny that. It's when they don't have any power, then people feel like they're comfortable to speak out.
Yeah, so. It's okay. I'll step down now so I get my nice hefty retirement bonus and all this.
Yeah, well, he sold WWE for like, I think it was 700 million, 750 million, something
he
like that.
Certainly won't suffer.
Well, hopefully all that'll go on legal fees and he'll be fucking broke by the end of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Again, accusations.
Yeah, but, all accusations, but it is
everything's pointing in one direction.
Yeah, and it's important to take that accusation seriously, even if it turns out that all this ends up not being true and it's all been horrible shit that's been made up about him. It's still important to take allegations seriously and take the proper procedures. So yeah. But on a bit of a lighter note, because I think we need a bit of a lighter note after that one, the last news story I've got today, which is talking about Xbox revealing their plan to release some of their games on the PS5. Yeah. So
I had that in my game section.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, how about this? Let's jump into gaming. Let's jump into the game section. Why not? And let's start with this. What's kind of your take on this? Xbox doing this.
Well, I think two of them are Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush, and then there's some other ones, Pentiment and Grounded, I think it was.
There's discussions that they're also going to bring over Starfield, and they're talking about bringing the Gears of War series over.
Yeah, so. It definitely feels like this is a stepping stone into that kind of sharing. I think they're kind of like dipping their toe into it, saying, oh, well, we're going to give you these games. I mean, no one's swinging from the chandeliers thinking that these are like the best games ever, but... Yeah. They obviously they want a bit of the Sony pie as well, so they want some Sony exclusives coming over.
I think the thing is I remember watching a couple of videos on this, and essentially I think it's come down to is that Xbox hasn't sold more than PlayStation in hardware since like the Xbox 360. They also haven't made a single penny off of Game Pass. They lost a lot of money on Starfield. And that's just how I think they've realised now they're at a point where they can't just hog everything because it's just not working. They're not making any money. So I think that's kind of why they opened it up. Although I did see an interesting reaction from the Xbox community, which I think is a bit valid, right? they basically turned and said, then why have we bothered sticking with you all this time? If you're just going to send all the exclusives over there, why are we here? Why don't we just go buy a PlayStation then? And I think that's a valid argument to make. Some people have stuck with Xbox, because they prefer that console or they prefer that sort of platform. And now they're basically being told, oh, you don't get anything like just for you guys. It's all over there. Which, just to stress, it's not all the games that are going over, but they're sort of talking about the idea of bringing over a few games. A few, I think, have been confirmed now, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah. They obviously just like releasing this short list just as a little, okay, we'll just pretend that we're only just doing these, whereas we've got big plans in the future. Yeah. So obviously, it's going to upset a lot of bases. So they're obviously doing that just to make their fans happy. Yeah. The ones who actually care about console wars and all this kind of thing, which is stupid in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
It's just let all games be for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Everyone gets no money.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is, as well, is I think especially after the acquisition now that has gone through, obviously, which we've talked about many times, of Activision, and then buying that was a lot of money. And they've bought up Bethesda, they've bought up other companies as well, and they've spent a lot of money. And the fact they're not making any money back from any of this, it's a big risk. And I think maybe they're starting to realise now this isn't working as well as we thought it would.
Yeah, it's like the initial investment to buy the company and do it, and then they've got to start making games from scratch so that they can sell them on the Xbox. And that's going to take 7-8 years for good ones. Yeah. And all that investment as well. So it's a hell of a lot of money just to waste. Yeah. Just for that one or two games in the long run that might be bestsellers, or they might also be flopped as well. So it's also a gamble.
Yeah. So I'll read. I've got an article up here. I'm going to read their tweet and just the first paragraph of Xbox reveals its plans for PS5 and more. But obviously, go and check this out yourself. The article will be down below. The biggest news was Xbox confirmation that Fall games will indeed be going multi-platform. Spencer declined to name the games, saying only, quote, "The teams that are building these games have announced plans that are not too far away. As we know, games teams put a lot of energy into the announcements and partners. So I don't want to take anything away from these teams. So I won't be talking about the title specifically. But I think when they come out, it'll make sense." So, I mean, that makes sense. To be honest, I like Phil Spencer. I think he's done really well with Xbox in regards to, giving back to the community. Like, Game Pass is a fucking deal and a half, and all of these, games that they have on there. And especially with, like, how he's managed to make Xbox this big conglomerate now, despite it not making any money. But I think that's the problem then. People have compared them to PS5, or PlayStation, I should say, and Sony have made money every year, but their methods are sort of slightly less anti-consumer. But now you can kind of see why. If you go full on anti-consumer, they don't make any money, and luckily Microsoft is $1 trillion company. They can afford to lose a few billion here and there, but they don't want to. So I mean, hopefully it'll all go well, but I mean, a lot of people were worried that they're just going to put everything over, but apparently that's not the case. It is just a select through few on a game-by-game basis that they're going to sort of go over. But if you were to see something come from Xbox, what would you like to see come over to PlayStation?
I'd like to see all the future Elder Scrolls things come to PlayStation, because that's a big one that I think PlayStation fans will be missing if it isn't multi-platform game. But I'd like to play the whole Gears of War things.
They are great games.
Things that I've missed. But I'd just be happy to have everything. I mean, it's been long enough now for some of these games that it doesn't really matter what console they're on. But obviously, PlayStation has after about a year, they released them on PC, so that no one really kicks up a fuss about that.
I think that's because it's not going on to the Xbox brand. Like, it's specifically like Microsoft, like PC game, which Microsoft does. By the way, if you're not aware, Game Pass is for both Xbox and PC for anyone that's watching. But I think, I can understand why people are miffed if they've stuck with Xbox for so long and now they feel like they're just having stuff taken away from them. But I think you have to look at it. They're a business. They're a company. They want to make money,
Yeah.
And they can't keep losing.
It's a childish thing, though, isn't it? Like,
I want it.
Yeah, I want exclusive access to this. I don't want anyone else to have it because it's mine.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
It's like, what's the point of something if you can't share it with others and let other people enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the quote from Xbox to try it, like the actual official Xbox account, to try and mitigate some of the backlash that they were getting was Xbox hardware will also continue to be a flagship, Jesus Christ, flagship experience for players and for game developers to launch games on with a robust and innovative, there's the fucking word, multi-year hardware roadmap, including more console and controller options for you this holiday. So, because a lot of people thought they were just going to step out the consoles, like they weren't going to bother with the hardware anymore. Obviously, they've shown when obviously Sony was taking them on to try and stop the acquisition of Activision, they did have to reveal what their next consoles are on the Xbox, and they're all digital, no discs. And a lot of people had a problem with that, as did I, because I'm fucking sick of buying games and then having them taken away from me. So, yeah, I can understand why people are miffed, but I mean, if they're going to continue with their consoles anyway, it should be fine. And if they're not putting everything over it, you've still got something, I mean, I understand why people are a little bit pissed off, but if you are someone who watches this show and prioritizes Xbox, what's kind of your thoughts? I'd love to know, like someone who has just been Xbox like all their life.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I've always been loyal to PlayStation, so I'm unaffected by this. I've
switched. I've bounced back and forth. I had a 360, and then after that, I've been with PlayStation. So I've had PS4 and PS5, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I've dabbled.
Yeah, you got both.
But I do.
You're playing both sides.
But I will say this much: I do find myself. It's like maybe 98% on PlayStation and then 2% on Xbox here and there. Like with the games I can't play on PlayStation, so like Fable and Gears of War, like I'll go back to play them. But pretty much everything else I do on PlayStation, I've stuck with it for years now, like over a decade. So I mean, that's upsetting. So I mean, yeah, it's an interesting thing.
The Xbox did one thing better with the kind of frame rate boost for like older titles.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of those games have been patched on PlayStation now, so that they are running at 60 frames anyway. Yeah. But not all of them. So yeah, that's one thing I was jealous about a few years ago.
Yeah. I mean, it is very, very clever what they did with the Series X and how to boost all those frame rates and get all that done.
That shows the technology is still there for Xbox.
I mean, they're brilliant. I mean, they've got PCs on their side as well. So, I mean, but I mean, PS5 was more powerful, I believe, only by a little bit, but it still had less, like, at launch anyway, it had less sort of, like, settings and things to play games. Obviously now that's all been patched in, so I mean it's fine.
Yeah, it's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think people are up in arms because they think, all my catalogue's going over there, when in actual fact that might not be the case. Just wait and see. There's not much more we know on this. Again, Phil Spencer's been very quiet on it. He's not revealing what games are going over. The only
Game Pass comes to PlayStation.
They actually tried to do that. They tried to, and Sony point blank told them to fuck off, basically. Which I can understand. Like, why would you want, when you're trying to sell PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, why would you want Game Pass on there? Like, that's a better deal. So, I mean, probably a smart move from Sony.
Yeah, that would seriously affect their sales.
Oh, fuck yeah. They would be struggling. But yeah. Have we got any more gaming news, or should we get into the games we've been playing?
I think I've not really got any gaming news, but I can get into some games we've been playing, which
Let's do it.
aren't new ones, but kind of going back to some oldies. I picked up Riders Republic again. Speaking of the whole Xbox and PlayStation thing, it's amazing that I can play with my friend in the States through Discord, and he's on Xbox, I'm on PlayStation, and it's like, that's great. That's possible these days, so thank you Gaming God. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaming God. Let me clean you. Lick your bum hole. No, I think that is
even though it should have been like that from the start, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is a really good thing. That is definitely cross-platform play has been a massive help for some games as well. That's been
Discord integration as well.
Oh, that's been great.
A few other games like that, Rainbow Six Siege, Aliens Fireteam Elite. It's nice to jump back into that after so long, even though it's pretty much exactly the same as how we left it. But yeah, I just obviously going forward, more games are going to be just cross-platform, and yeah, that'll just be it's the way it's going,
Yeah, definitely. I like
which which is good. Yeah, that's all I've been playing.
it. Oh, that's fair.
Fun times,
Yeah. Oh, well,
please.
I've only got a few. I haven't got too many. But so one of the indie games that I played was called Unsorted VHS. That was really good. Short little indie game, bit confusing when I played it, but then when I watched it back when I was editing and stuff, made more sense. It's very good. It's on itch.io if anyone wants to go and check that out. Game that I played. Funny enough, I think it was yesterday. It's called Lydia. It's like a little indie game on PlayStation. Really good story, told really well. It is a very dark story, but it's told respectfully. I don't want to spoil anything on here, so I do highly recommend people go and check that out. I think you can buy it for like less than £1 when it's on sale, so it's a very good game. Go and check that out. That's fun. Oh shit. Pardon me. Also, I've been playing a little bit more Baldur's Gate 3 with Robin. Hi, Robin.
Oh.
See, I mentioned you. But yeah, I've been playing a little bit more of that, and I've really enjoyed playing it with someone. What I found is playing something like Baldur's Gate 3 on my own has been like quite overwhelming because there's so much to it. But playing it with someone else or playing it with a friend has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed that, so I think that's kind of the direction I'll probably go with Baldur's Gate. It's just playing it with friends more than anything. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it too, Robin. But yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that's the same with Siege with me. I would never go and run and play that on my own because it's just like too sweaty. But if you're playing it with friends or one friend and you're not hearing the game chat and you're just hearing the chat between yourselves, and it's a lot more chill, and you can laugh about things without the fear of being shouted down by some sweaty kid.
Sweaty kid. Like, hey, my Doritos, my boomer juice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm a noob, and I own it.
I suck at Siege. I've never been good at Siege.
Yeah.
But
the Study Club.
Yeah, I've only got two more. Bendy and the Dark Revival, so the sequel to Bendy and the Ink Machine. Finished that. It was okay. I thought the story was okay. Obviously, there's a lot of drama around the company that makes it. Stealing artwork, not crediting the artists and stuff like that. But just to focus on the game itself, it was fine. It was good. There were a few good mechanics that were improved on. Powers and combat was definitely a lot better. But yeah, it was okay. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fun enough. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then the big boy for me that I managed to finish, which was Resident Evil 4's remake.
Oh, you finished it now?
Yeah, managed to finish it finally. Yeah, no, it was amazing. As Dead Space remake, when I played that, it's pleasantly surprising to see how much effort went actually into them. RE4 remake, I would definitely advise people go and check out if you can and whenever you can afford to buy it and stuff, because it is fantastic. There's debate about Ada's sort of lines, but I don't think that's the actress's fault. That's definitely the director's fault for choosing the wrong lines to put in, because some of them do sound very odd and out of place, and you're kind of like, that's a bit weird. But no, it was a fantastic game, fantastic experience, a lot of fun to play. I will not be going for the platinum. And it was a great time, enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing what they do with Resident Evil 5 and 6, if they're going to, because they're remaking them now. So
are they the only ones that haven't been remade
at this point? Yeah. So
okay,
I am excited for Resident Evil 5 because I think that's going to be.
Was that one of those? Was a co-op one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was when you played as Chris Redfield and what was her name?
Claire.
No, fucking
no.
What was her name? That's going to annoy me now. That's going to annoy me a lot. I'm going to look it up because it's going to bug me. Because I can't believe I can't remember. I used to love playing that game with friends and stuff. I need to know now. Sheva. There we go. Yeah, so that was that. It's a good game, but it is very dated. So I am very excited because they did a fantastic job with RE4. They changed the story a bit as well, made it more, not believable, but just more streamlined, better bosses. Yeah, of course, you still had the merchant. What are you buying? Which is great. I don't like his voice actor as much, but that's nostalgia
You
talking.
win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's nostalgia talking on my part, so I completely accept that. But the game is fantastic. I do recommend people go and play it.
Yeah, Resident Evil is one of those franchises that I've just never really kind of jumped into. I've played some of 7,
Yeah.
but I need to like go back and like properly play them all.
I mean, 7 and Village were fantastic reboots.
They seem
for the
different from the
franchise.
others, though, don't they?
Yeah, they're first person and they're more combat focused. And I don't know, 7 and 8 were
More
a
of kind
fantastic
of
reboot.
self-contained stories, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it's a new branching path, like a new storyline essentially, but sort of further in the future. So it's still in the same timeline, but just further on. And
Yeah.
it's really, really good, honestly. Like 7 and 8 are fantastic. But yeah, I do like the old ones. And, especially like with how well they've done with RE4, like RE5, especially if they keep the co-op aspect. Very excited. But yeah, that's all I've got for games.
Okay, well, shall we move on to our probably last section?
We never have interesting things anymore. We never have it.
The whole thing is interesting. It's null and void.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, movies and TV series,
Yeah.
things we've been watching. Well, I'll probably start off with the one that I went to watch most recently, which is Argyle.
Oh, yeah.
Argyle. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Matthew Vaughan's films and stuff with Kingsman. I think he's never quite reached the heights of the original Kingsman with all the sequels and the things that have come out recently. But it's a very fun and entertaining film, and I would recommend watching it as like going thinking it's a parody and just just have a good time at the spectacle of it. But I do think it's probably his worst one so far.
Oh, no.
But it's still enjoyable. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a film of two halves. Like the first half is what you see in the trailers, and I was kind of disappointed a little bit by it. But then the second part is like Kingsman sequel. So, but yeah, there's obviously loads of big names in there, Bryan Cranston and Henry Cavill and stuff, and they're all like great in it.
Yeah.
It does the thing where it brings in kind of pop stars as kind of like token things. Dua Lipa in there. I've never been a fan of that kind of thing because I'm like, just let pop stars be pop stars. I know everyone can do multiple things, but yeah, it's obviously just there for the for the hits.
Oh my god, that person does singing.
Yeah. Oh my god, and it brings in a new audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would 5.56 out of 10. I'd probably give it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's got that Matthew Vaughn spin on it, especially the ending half of it. But yeah, Henry Cavill could have easily been replaced. He's barely in it, to be fair.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
But yeah, it's definitely a Bryce Dallas Howard film rather than Henry Cavill.
Oh, fine. Okay.
But yeah, it's apparently it's going to be like a multi-sequel, adventure with Kingsman links as well. So we'll see how that goes. I think now because there's so many twists and turns in it and stuff that he's kind of struggled to keep going with it.
Yeah.
But I think now that they've kind of had the rocky start, I think there's potential to be really good for sequels and stuff. Like I was down with it towards the end.
There you go.
So hopefully they release some good sequels, and because a lot of people are slanging on it, aren't they?
Yeah. Quite heavily.
Yeah. They were expecting too much.
Too much.
But yeah. Do you have anything good to...
Yeah, I watched the American Nightmare documentary on Netflix. So it's not the same one that we've talked about before, the guy that obviously hid the bodies inside the oil tank thing. It was about the woman, I don't know if you remember, but this woman just turned up out of the blue after being abducted after 2 days. Just turned back up.
Okay.
And yeah, it sort of delves into that and kind of talks. They interview everyone who was involved and sort of chat about it. And it was weird because it's such a strange story that you just don't believe, like it could be real. But you also see, as you always do in cases like this, police incompetence and just choosing to ignore evidence, which is fucking hilarious to me. It's like, what is wrong with the police force in this day and age? Like, do you just can't be asked to do your fucking job? Making shit up, lying, and manipulating situations. Like, it's crazy. But I do recommend people go and watch it, because as unbelievable as the story sounds, it is interesting.
Entertaining.
Well, yeah, not just that, but it's interesting. Like, I think not a lot of people learned the outcome from all of this stuff happening to them, and what happened, like, in court and things like that. So I think it would be an educational watch for some people.
It's nice to unravel the whole story while, a lot of things are still ongoing these days because it takes years and years and years, but nice to hear the full story of something.
Yeah, and also
Netflix are especially good at doing documentaries.
And also, like, to clear their names, like, people who are innocent being accused of something get to clear their names, and I think that's that can only be a good thing, right? So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think Netflix one of the greatest at doing documentaries, because they're kind of fairly low budget things, and they are like stuff that you want to binge because it's based on true events, even if they do kind of bring in some wacky people to kind of talk about it for the views. Yeah,
but no, definitely a good watch.
Well, I went to see another film a few weeks ago, All of Us Strangers, which is a very good film. I kind of did a disservice to it by saying, I'm just going to watch this gay film. But it's not just a gay film. It's a very good film with lots of emotion, and it's got Andrew Scott in it, of course. It's nice to see him playing his true, gay self in a film. It's obviously about a gay man who's lost his parents, and he is kind of coming to terms with grieving about it, and he's kind of having these flashbacks to what could have been if he'd had those conversations with his parents about coming out and all this kind of things, which is very kind of emotional and hits home with a lot of kind of things that they cover in there. It's very, very emotional. Kind of, he has to let go of it and stuff like that. So he's got a very vivid imagination, let's just say, as well. So I definitely recommend that film. But it's one of those films that you just think about after you've seen it, and I still haven't stopped thinking about it. Like, you still think about it a little bit.
Best kind of films.
God, that's so good. Yeah.
Best kind of films are the ones you watch, and then for weeks afterwards, you're still thinking about stuff from it.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a good film.
But yeah, Andrew Scott is great in it. Of course, he's not aged a day since Fleabag. Be that priest.
Love that priest.
I've got one final thing that I'll just talk about. I've watched the TV series, which has not quite finished yet. I think it's got one episode left, but True Detective Night Country. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's got Jodie Foster in it. It's got all the big names. I think it's a bit of like Oscar bait and all this thing. Yeah. But but it is actually good if you see past all that. Set in Alaska, Ennis. It's very I don't know. It's good to watch because of the setting is just so kind of bleak and atmospheric. It's all like very snowy, and it's an interesting story about like a murder, and plenty of murders. And is it supernatural? Is it not supernatural? So I like the fact that they are kind of lending into the supernatural aspect, even if maybe it turns out it isn't, because I haven't seen that ending. But it does seem like that is the way they're going. I did try to watch season 1 of True Detective, and I just could not get into it, even though everyone says it's like the most amazing thing going. It's got Matthew McConaughey in it, and it's just so dry. I just couldn't get into it. I've tried like 2 episodes, and it's just kind of felt like big names there for just being big names, and reeling off this dry dialogue, which and not much actual detective work, which this one does have a lot of detective work in it. So if you tried to get into True Detective, I'd recommend later season.
Okay. I'm with you.
But yeah, that's what I'd say about that one. Very enjoyable. Recommended.
Fair enough. Well, I've only got 2 more things. The first film is Dragonheart Battle for the Heartfire. It's so there was a film called Dragonheart, obviously way back in the day. It was very good. Enjoyed it a lot. But they've made like subsequent sequels, and obviously
low budget
crap. But this one actually surprised me. Some of the acting's a little bit questionable here and there, but actually it was fairly well made. Good CGI and good for TV CGI. But like, it was very good, and I actually enjoyed it, considering how like awkward some of the parts are. But it's like it's done with clearly a lot of care and passion for the franchise, and they were like, oh, we wanted to try something different. It's like, do you know what? I respect that.
Yeah, they just keep on reeling them out, and it's like they'll get hit at some point, won't they?
Yeah, exactly. Even the dog agrees.
God damn it.
That's fun. Right, last thing I got to talk about, which we all knew was coming. The Red Band trailer for Deadpool 3 comes out today, but I watched the teaser.
Oh, yes.
I had to watch the teaser. I had to. I have no option. And dear God, am I excited! Like,
yeah, it's one of those unmissable ones, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just some of the lines in the teaser alone are just fucking golden. So,
yeah, I can't remember if I watched the teaser or the actual trailer.
The trailer comes out, I think, today. The day we're recording anyway at 6 p.m. So
yeah,
very,
it's nice to see them linking the Disney TV series and stuff to actually mean something.
It's like bringing Deadpool into the MCU now. He's officially part of it, which is.
He's like a Marvel Jesus or something.
Yeah, Marvel Jesus. It's like, okay, of course. But I think my favorite.
The whole dynamic with Wolverine will be just amazing, won't it?
Oh my god, I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. But I think the thing I'm most. I think that one of my favorite lines so far from just the teaser alone was just, I might be used to, what was it? I might be used to packing, but Disney's new to this, or something like that. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, it is the first R-rated thing they've done since the
It's
MCU.
so self-aware.
I do love it. It's very good, and of course it's got Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, obviously, and there's a plethora apparently of cameos that are going to be in it. So I'm very excited for it. It's going to be very good, hopefully.
It's really good to have these kind of self-aware meta kind of media with these corporations, because like it does get like all the people saying, oh yeah, it's just stupid and stuff, and then you get this and it actually acknowledges how it can be stupid at some point, but we can also make a good thing out of this.
I think one of I think Marvel need a fucking hit now, because Madam Web I think just came out and it's flopped terribly.
Oh my god, I saw the trailer for that in the cinema. It looks just so like a made-for-TV kind of thing. Rubbish.
That's pretty much what all the reviews have said. They said it was worse than Morbius.
I was kind of waiting for something good to happen on it. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah. So I think Deadpool is definitely going to help them out a lot this year. I think that's going to be doing all the heavy
that is
lifting.
the gold nugget.
I'm glad that Disney didn't fucking turn and go, no, it has to be rated PG. They were just like, no, fuck it, keep the rated R. Just like. Deadpool, just have the rated R, like it's fine. So Marvel made a good choice. So hopefully it'll be good and keep the spirit of it, and I imagine it's going to be. Well, I mean, it's it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Finally, Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine together. So I mean, best way to go out.
Speaking of Marvel, I actually forgot I watched this, and that's a testament to what it was, the Marvels.
Oh god!
I
refuse.
Yeah, it was just the most generic thing I've ever seen, I think, with some cool kind of action scenes, but like that was about it. Like, it wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination, and it was a bit too long as well. I think a bit too mishmashed. I
think that's the problem the Marvel are going to have now. Until they've released everything that they had already made and planned to release anyway as part of like Phase 4, they are going to be struggling, because it started off bad, the middle's been fucking dreadful, and the ending's not looking great either. So it's a really fucking messy phase that I think they just want to put behind them. Like She-Hulk season 2 got cancelled, thank God. Although there are some questions into Daredevil Born Again, so the new Daredevil film, obviously with Charlie Cox still playing Daredevil. There's been a lot of good stuff said about it on set and stuff, but I think until people actually see something that's it's the same thing that they've done with Deadpool. They need to start making characters that are R-rated like stop making them you fucking ruining it. It's like Blade. That's had 7 fucking scripts. It's Blade. Make it R18. Make it vampires. Lots of blood. There you go. How fucking hard is it? Come on.
That's the thing with Argyle as well. It's 12A, and I think it would have benefited from being a little bit more R-rated. And also, I forgot to mention the CGI, and it's kind of distractingly bad as well. Like, I know sometimes it's a choice for it to be, artistic like that, but the opening scene was just really bad CGI. I was like, oh.
I think that's the thing as well. It's like, is it me? And I could be wrong with this, but is this me? This is our interesting thing for the day. Here we go. Is it me, or is CGI getting worse?
Yeah,
like
it seems like it, doesn't it?
It seems like that a lot of the films I'm seeing that are coming out more recently, the CGI is fucking dreadful. Like, it's not even like a little bit of a downgrade. It's like, I can see the fucking green screen. You haven't even chroma keyed it properly. I can fucking see it. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It's getting to a stage where it's obviously like during filming, they're like, oh, it's okay, we'll just CGI that in. We'll just CGI that in. It's okay, who cares? We've got a schedule to meet. And then it gets to that point where they have to CGI it in, and there's like less care being taken during the actual filming to make sure everyone thinks they can just fix things in post when it's not always possible, and it will have these weird effects. And I'm not usually a massive a distractor, but with all the CGI things, I didn't mind the flash and all that kind of stuff. I thought overall, it kind of grasped me anyway, and the CGI was just kind of an added layer onto it. But with this one, like the whole opening scene was kind of like CGI, and I was just like, this is just it's just pulling me out of it.
Well, I think that's the thing. So, like, I have never been the type of person who gives a shit if it's bad CGI or not. If it's a good film, I don't care. But the thing is long gone are the days where it wasn't just CGI; it'd be practical and CGI, and that makes that enhances the CGI as well, because it adds to it. But I think I can't remember what fucking film it was, but I remember watching sort of the special features of a film that I watched, and one of the special effects department basically said the most potent quote that I've ever fucking heard when it comes to filmmaking, probably most real one, which is the best way to do CGI and effects is by mixing it with practical. The problem is studios don't want that anymore. They just want the special effects because it's quicker and it costs less money. It's the same problem.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, it's the same problem with gaming studios. Just rush the fucking game out and we'll patch it later. It's like, no, give a fucking product that's worth the money, and then you can, But I mean, you
need to capture the audiences from the concept, not just the end part.
Yeah, exactly.
If what you've got is a pile of shit to start with, nothing is going to improve it.
It's just it's like, why rush it when you can make a product that people are going to love and you'll make more money from it that way. So
can't polish a turd.
Well, you can polish a turd. It's still a turd. But yeah, what do you guys think about that interesting thing? How are your feelings on CGI and how it's gone? Let us know in the comments below. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think we've got anything else. Yeah. So another successful podcast is complete.
It is done.
It is done. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Boomer juice. Boomer juice. But yeah, thank you to everyone who obviously has sat here and watched the entire episode. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. Of course, thank you as always, Sean, for joining me for the podcast and having a good time.
Oh, thank you for organising.
You are welcome. But thank you guys for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to make the podcast for you as always. And we shall catch you in the next one, hopefully in 2 weeks. Take care.
Have everyone. A good 2 weeks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.